Hi everyone and welcome to the Redikall series. Today we are going to talk about our expectations, then leading to guilts, leading to self-punishment, and all this with respect to our parents. So somewhere there are said and unsaid expectations that our parent or parent figures have from us. And these expectations somewhere start building when we are very little actually. And at that time, we do not know how to rationalize or say no to these expectations. And some of these expectations come out of societal norms, or some could be because of our own obligations towards them. But most of it is somewhere our expectations from ourselves with respect to our approach towards our parents. And somewhere when we are not able to meet our own expectations we have, we start feeling this subconscious or conscious guilt. And then we start going through a lot of guilt, like for not doing things with respect to the expectation of our parents, or sometimes doing things but inappropriately. And because of that, we go through guilt, which is very adverse, and we'll understand why. So we are going to understand through this webinar how to recognize and the need for us to forgive ourselves and why it is so important. So, there are little promises as children we make to our parents. For example, we won't lie, or we will get good marks, we will do well in life. We make promises like we will not, in some families, not touch alcohol before a particular age, not smoke. In some families, some children can make promises we will not be we'll remain a virgin till we are married. And then sometimes, as you grow, you're not able to fulfill those promises and you're not able to live up to the expectations of your parents. And it happens with so many of us. But then, when you're not able to fulfill the promises, somewhere you start feeling very, very guilty about it. And there could be very valid reasons. Sometimes there could be, as you grow big, there could be personal, professional, unfavorable circumstances because of which you're not able to keep up to their expectations. But still, you feel guilty. Now, these are something we are aware of. There are some guilts that people go through their whole life and they don't even realize till sometimes when we do sessions or we do things like soul meta play or we do the higher levels of radical, do we realize that how people go through guilt from the time they are in the nascent state of very, very young babies. So sometimes when young children see one of their parents suffer, maybe their mother suffer, and they are because of the age, they're not able to take a stand for them. They're not able to maybe safeguard them, protect them. They feel very guilty. And then they take an oath or a vow that they will always protect their parents or protect a particular parent as they grow big. Now they have taken that oath and vow, but they do not realize that how these oaths and vows can somewhere inhibit them. And they also adversely affect the parents. Like I'll give an example of how this can adversely affect the children and the parents in maybe some time. And then what happens is when you're not able to be in integrity with your oaths and vows or your promises, you start feeling very unfulfilled in life. And sometimes this is very subconscious, so you're not even aware that you feel all this. So you feel unfulfilled, and when you feel unfulfilled, you feel more guilty, and then this whole cycle repeats. And so it has become more essential for us to recognize and begin this journey of self forgiveness. I'll give you a very extreme example, which we people have not realized consciously, but when we do more work, they realize. So sometimes when babies feel that the family were not prepared to actually receive them, and sometimes when energetically they sense that even in the womb it's possible for babies to sense sometimes that the family was not prepared for the newborn child, they suddenly start feeling this guilt, and they suffer from this guilt lifelong at a very subconscious level, and they feel like this huge burden, they feel like an obligation, they feel they just don't feel comfortable because of that, and then because of that they take oaths and vows to somewhere repay their debt of the debt for their parents, and those vows can then inhibit them and their parents also. Like, I'll give you a case study. So there was a son when when he, as an adult, when we worked with him, we realized that, so somewhere he felt that when he was born, his parents felt very anxious because they felt that he was a financial burden onto their whole family, especially on their financial aspect of their whole family. And then he started somewhere at this subconscious level feel that every penny spent on him felt like a burden. He felt like this big, um, you know, like a like he felt so guilty that somewhere as he grew up, he took a vow and an oath that he will somewhere repay that debt, and he will financially look after his parents so that he can kind of neutralize and repay back the debt. Now, when you take that kind of a vow that you will repay back the debt and you will take care of your parents financially, then a very interesting and a strange thing happens, which you will not even realize. But then, if the son has decided to take care and has taken an oath and vow to take care of the parent then has no choice but to play the role of a poor parent, so that the parents can reciprocate to the need of the child to repay their debt. These things, somewhere we don't even consciously understand that this is even a possibility, but when we work further with Radical, these kind of awareness comes to surface. And for some of you it must be like, how does this really happen? But actually we don't even realize how children take oaths and vows, and through that bind themselves and bind their parents, even financially. So the parent has no option to but not to do well, so that the son when grows up can take care because of that oath and vow. So we need to realize that the parent or the child doesn't need to feel any obligation, doesn't need to feel anything about it, because resources like money are going to freely flow to people as per their life plan and as per their openness. So they don't have to feel guilty, or children don't have to feel guilty. They just need to understand that they can do their best and in their capacity channelize money as per their best and then leave the rest. The children can somewhere intend and invite fulfillment of their parents with respect to them, through them, because of them. And even if sometimes parents are not in their physical body, even if children as adults now can just intend this, then this will not only heal their own guilt, but it will heal the unfulfilled experience of their parents that actually arose because of their reciprocation to the children's guilt. I know this is slightly complicated, so maybe you can hear this a few times to understand the dynamics of what's happening and how they bind us and how they entangle the parent and the children. So I've been talking about children feeling guilty as an adult, and a lot of us feel guilty at a subconscious level. Why so much of guilt? Has anybody ever thought about that? So the guilt is because at the soul level, we all plan to grow through certain experience, and lot of us have planned to grow through guilt. So we'll keep inviting situations that make us feel guilty, because when we feel guilty, what we do is we somewhere want to punish ourselves. And how do we punish ourselves? We then invite without wanting to invite, but we invite adversities, unhappiness, those kind of difficult situations, so that we can, punish ourselves. And or we continue playing games with our parents, or blame games, or if criticism and accusation from parents that have made us feel not good enough, and then we feel guilty of not being worthy and not good enough, and then we work further and grow again personally, professionally, spiritually. So just for us to grow, so that we can grow, we somewhere get trapped into these games. And these are self defeating games. So we all need to now rise beyond these games. We need to rise beyond our need to grow through guilt. We can somewhere forgive ourselves and align to the brilliance of this guilt that we have chosen at the soul level. And that's how we can grow. Also, why is it so crucial to forgive ourselves is because most of our relationships are governed based on our relationship with our parents, because they are the primary relationships and the first relationships that we have experienced when we come to this planet. So the guilt with our parents, with respect to our parents, will influence all the other equations in our life. So it's time that we address all those guilts and resolve, so that they do not affect our current relationships. We also need to work with our guilt, so that we do not inflict unhappiness and manifest situations where difficult in life, just so that we punish ourselves at a subconscious level. There's something that most of you would not know, that if we feel that kind of guilt, we as parents actually even can go to an extent of manifesting kids which are very difficult, just so that we can witness and experience the pangs of parenting. Or sometimes we've had students where the parent was very strict with the was the child judged the parent for being in a particular way, and then was so guilty later on for judging the parent, that then manifested kids that did exactly the same so that they could experience that, and somewhere that arose because of the guilt. So it's important that we address our guilts and we forgive ourselves. So we begin with forgiving ourselves for all our wrongdoings, if we have ever, to forgive ourselves for not living up to the promises we made, for not being able to maybe live up to all the oaths and vows that we made, to free ourselves of those oaths and vows, because sometimes we need to understand that we are not superhumans. We are humans, and it's not possible to be 100% ideal child, and we don't need to be one. There can be situations which were not in our control, or we were too young to even rationalize, or there were so many unfavorable unseen circumstances which were not in your hand. So it's important that we forgive ourselves and free ourselves from that guilt and the punishment. And also, somewhere, There's another thing you can do is to relive that innocent child in you, and somewhere in your heart, be the little child to your parents. And if for whatever you have done, or inappropriate things, or things that you could not do, or things you said, you can ask and seek for forgiveness in your heart. And that doesn't really, and that I think will somewhere free you to live a happier life. So, after this very heavy topic today, let us do some archive statements, and let us work towards forgiving ourselves, seeking forgiveness, so that we can live happier lives. So, let's close our eyes and repeat with me. I archive all my guilts. I archive all my guilts. I archive all my guilts. I archive my guilts towards my parent or parent figures. I archive my guilt towards my parent or parent figures. I archive my guilt towards my parent or parent figures. I archive my guilt of not fulfilling my promises. I archive my guilt of not fulfilling my promises. I archive my guilt of not fulfilling my promises. I archive my guilt of not living up to my parents' expectations. I archive my guilt of not living up to my parents' expectations. I archive my guilt of not living up to my parents' expectations. I archive my guilt of judging my parents. I archive my guilt of judging my parents. I archive my guilt of judging my parents. I archive my association of growth with guilt. I archive my association of growth with guilt. I archive my association of growth with guilt. I archive my need to punish myself. 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 I archive my need to seek forgiveness. I archive my need to seek forgiveness. I archive my need to seek forgiveness. I R5, I need to forgive myself. R5, I need to forgive myself. R5, I need to forgive myself. So now affirm with me. I forgive myself for my inappropriate conduct towards my parents. I forgive myself for my inappropriate conduct towards my parents. I forgive myself for my inappropriate conduct towards my parents.